Hello, you remarkable architect of your own, the one who has turned challenges into lessons, patience into strength, and reflection into wisdom, who has moved through trials with steadfastness and clarity, not seeking approval, not craving recognition, and not asking for validation from anyone else. Quietly reshaping yourself according to principles that matter, values that endure, and goals that align with your highest vision of goodness, integrity, and resilience. You are living proof that growth does not require applause, that transformation can happen in silence, and that the most profound revolutions occur not in the streets or on stages, but within the heart, the mind, and the soul, in the unseen moments when you make choices that no one else witnesses, when you resist the easy path for the right path, when you embrace discomfort in order to cultivate patience, when you let go of attachments that no longer serve your purpose, and when you prioritize alignment with truth, wisdom, and sincerity over fleeting recognition or shallow comfort. Many may think they knew you, may have tried to define you, label you, or predict you, but they were never observing the full depth of your efforts, the quiet cultivation of character, the deliberate shaping of habits, and the thoughtful nurturing of your inner world, because while they were distracted by appearances, judgments, and assumptions, you were steadily building a foundation of self-awareness, discipline, and ethical strength that no external circumstance could shake, and as a result, your presence now carries a calm certainty, a poised confidence, and a clarity of purpose that resonates silently yet powerfully, affecting the energy around you. Not through force or confrontation, but through consistency, integrity, and quiet excellence. You did not need to compete with anyone, argue, or prove yourself, because your transformation was never about them. It was about cultivating the best version of yourself, aligning your actions with your values, and moving with intention, mindfulness, and patience. And in doing so, you have created a life that reflects your principles, radiates authenticity, and inspires those who witness even fragments of it, without ever demanding recognition, praise, or approval. And that is the beauty of true growth. It manifests naturally, steadily, and inevitably, like a river carving its course over stone, shaping your character, reinforcing your resilience, and demonstrating that real influence comes not from manipulation, dominance, or force, but from living consistently according to your convictions, maintaining boundaries that preserve your integrity, exercising kindness without compromise, and persevering in the face of challenges with faith, courage, and dignity. You have learned to distinguish between kindness and enabling harm, between generosity and depletion, between compromise and surrender of principle, and between patience and passivity. And in mastering these distinctions, you have built an inner fortress of strength that protects not just your peace, but your ability to act with wisdom, thoughtfulness, and compassion, remaining steadfast no matter the noise, misunderstanding, or judgment of others. And as your life unfolds, it becomes clear that the most profound victories are those won in silence, through reflection, ethical effort, self-discipline, and unwavering commitment to the highest version of yourself, and that the essence of true empowerment lies not in controlling others, seeking validation, or imposing your will, but in cultivating resilience, wisdom, and integrity, so that your presence itself speaks volumes, your actions radiate clarity, and your growth becomes a guiding light for anyone willing to observe, learn, and be inspired, all while you continue to move forward quietly, deliberately, and purposefully, fully aligned with your values, your ethics, and your vision of meaningful, principled, and impactful life. You have reached the point where you no longer perform to meet expectations that were never yours, where you have stopped shrinking yourself to fit the comfort of others, where you have allowed your authentic self, shaped by reflection, ethical principles, and steadfast patience, to emerge in all its clarity. And in this emergence, you have discovered a profound freedom, the kind that does not depend on approval, recognition, or applause. The kind that rests in knowing that your worth is not measured by others, but by your own commitment to integrity, kindness, and purposeful action. For so long you may have adjusted, compromised, or conformed in order to keep others comfortable, to avoid conflict, or to gain fleeting acceptance. And though those decisions were made with the best intentions at the time, you now understand that true growth requires honesty, courage, and the willingness to face discomfort, to sit with reflection, and to act according to what is right, rather than what is easy. And as you release the need to perform, to explain, or to justify your choices, you create space for authenticity, wisdom, and ethical strength to flourish. And in that space, you cultivate calmness, clarity, and a presence that radiates certainty, not through force, but through alignment with your principles. You did not achieve this overnight, nor through luck, but through countless moments of introspection, discipline, and patience. When you chose to do what was right rather than what was convenient, when you persevered through difficulty rather than yielding to frustration, when you nurtured your character, reinforced your boundaries, and strengthened your mind and heart through reflection, prayer, and mindful action, and in doing so, you have built a foundation of resilience and integrity that cannot be shaken by circumstance, opinion, or misunderstanding. As the masks fall away and the illusions of performance dissolve, you begin to see life more clearly, to interact with people more wisely, and to navigate challenges with discernment, not with impulsive reaction or need for validation. And this clarity does not isolate you, but it refines your interactions, attracting those who share your values, and inspiring others to consider the strength found in sincerity, patience, and ethical action, while gently filtering out influences that no longer serve your purpose. And in this natural filtering, you are not rejecting anyone unjustly, but rather maintaining the space needed for growth, reflection, and purposeful living, embodying balance between compassion and self-respect, between generosity and prudence, and between openness and healthy boundaries. Every choice you make, every boundary you maintain, every decision aligned with your principles strengthens your inner fortitude. And in that strength you discover the power of quiet influence, where your actions speak louder than words, where your consistency demonstrates reliability and wisdom, and where your presence communicates values, integrity, and ethical purpose without confrontation, argument, or imposition. And through this approach you realize that the most profound impact is not made by dominating others, demanding recognition, or seeking approval, but by embodying the virtues of patience, honesty, resilience, and self-awareness. And by allowing your life to unfold according to these principles, you create an existence that is both inspiring and sustainable, one that encourages reflection, ethical decision-making, and growth in those who observe it. And in the stillness of this new way of being, you understand that true strength lies not in control over others, but in control over yourself, not in manipulating outcomes, but in mastering your character, not in forcing recognition, but in nurturing authenticity. And as this truth takes root, your life becomes a testament to the power of self-discipline, reflection, patience, and ethical alignment, a living example of how quiet, principled transformation can create clarity, peace, and purpose, and how by prioritizing integrity and sincerity above all else, you become a force for good in your own life and in the lives of those who are willing to learn, observe, and be inspired by the example you quietly set. Now, you stand in a place of quiet strength, a space where your actions, your words, and your presence flow naturally from the principles you have cultivated, a space where your calm certainty and unwavering focus radiate without effort, and where the need for approval, validation, or external recognition no longer dictates your choices or your sense of self. For you have discovered that true freedom, true influence, and true resilience are born not from controlling others, from demanding attention, or from seeking to prove yourself, but from mastering your own heart, mind, and intentions, from maintaining steadfastness in your ethics, and from moving through life with clarity, patience, and purpose. In this state, you have learned to preserve your energy, to act intentionally, and to navigate challenges without distraction, without conflict, and without compromising your values, understanding that your growth is not measured by the judgment of others, but by your own adherence to what is right, just, and beneficial. And in doing so, you have created a life where your presence alone communicates authority, wisdom, and integrity, not through dominance or loudness, but through consistency, reliability, and principled action. And those who encounter you feel it, not as fear, not as threat, but as recognition that you are aligned with truth, reflection, and ethical clarity. And in this alignment, your influence is subtle yet profound, shifting perspectives, inspiring thought, and inviting reflection, all without coercion or force. You have cultivated the ability to respond rather than react, to choose reflection over impulsivity, to maintain composure in the face of uncertainty, and to act with patience, perseverance, and wisdom in every circumstance. And through these practices, you have built a fortress of resilience that protects your peace, your purpose, and your integrity, allowing you to remain centered no matter the opinions, misunderstandings, or judgments of others. And this fortitude is not coldness, but conscious care, not detachment from humanity, but clarity and engagement, not selfishness, but deliberate prioritization of what nourishes your soul and aligns with your values. you have also learned the subtle yet essential distinction between being compassionate and being drained, between being generous and being exploited, between being forgiving and being permissive of harm, and between being understanding and carrying burdens that are not yours to carry. And by mastering these distinctions, you have created boundaries that protect your energy while allowing your presence to inspire and uplift. And in doing so, you move through life with an aura that communicates integrity, strength, and ethical clarity without the need for words. And every decision you make, every action you take, and every boundary you maintain becomes a reflection of your values, reinforcing your consistency and reliability, demonstrating that influence does not require force, and that true leadership is grounded in patience, reflection, and principled action, rather than in manipulation, approval-seeking, or performance. Now, in this space of self-mastery and aligned action, you realize that your life is a testament to the power of calm certainty, that your choices shape not only your own path but also serve as an example for others who seek growth, patience, and integrity, and that your strength lies in your ability to act intentionally, to maintain focus amidst distraction, and to cultivate wisdom through reflection, observation, and adherence to ethical principles. And in this realization, you understand that the most profound form of empowerment is living in harmony with your values, moving with purpose, and radiating authenticity. And as you continue in this way, you discover that your presence, your actions, and your clarity become a quiet, guiding influence, inspiring thought, encouraging reflection, and shaping outcomes naturally, without conflict or force, and that the ultimate measure of success is not applause, recognition, or the judgments of others, but the cultivation of a life of integrity, consistency, patience, and purposeful action, a life in which your inner strength, calm certainty, and unwavering commitment to truth create a legacy of quiet excellence, ethical influence, and profound resilience, allowing you to navigate every challenge, every interaction, and every circumstance with clarity, dignity, and unwavering confidence in the path you have chosen, fully aligned with the highest version of yourself, your values, and your purpose.
And now you arrive at a place few ever reach, a space of profound inner freedom, where the life you lead, the choices you make, and the presence you carry reflect a completeness that is not dependent on others. A completeness rooted in reflection, ethical clarity, patience, and unwavering adherence to principle, where the need for approval, recognition, or validation has been replaced by self-trust, confidence in your intentions, and certainty in the alignment between your actions and your values. And in this space, every word you speak, every movement you make, and every decision you take radiates calm authority, quiet influence, and authentic strength, without effort, without dominance, and without the need to compete or prove yourself. For you have learned that the ultimate power lies not in controlling others or asserting recognition, but in mastering your own heart, mind, and intentions, in cultivating patience in trials, in acting with wisdom in every circumstance, and in maintaining dignity, kindness, and clarity, even when life presents challenges. And as you move through this space, you discover that your presence naturally inspires thought, reflection, and ethical action in those who observe it, not through coercion or insistence, but through the consistency, integrity, and calm certainty you embody. And in this way, your life becomes a testament to the value of principled living, where actions speak louder than words, character outweighs performance, and influence flows quietly yet profoundly from alignment with truth, sincerity, and self-mastery. In this state, you also recognize the beauty of detachment from unnecessary distractions, the clarity that comes from focusing on what truly matters, and the strength that arises from understanding that your energy, time, and attention are precious, and that maintaining boundaries, practicing patience, and acting with deliberation are not signs of rigidity, but of wisdom, discernment, and self-respect. And by consistently living this way, you cultivate an aura of calm certainty, a presence that communicates integrity and purpose, and a life that exemplifies resilience, quiet confidence, and ethical influence, inspiring others without seeking to dominate, control, or manipulate. You have learned that true generosity, kindness, and compassion are most impactful when balanced with self-care, discernment, and the protection of your own values and energy, and that forgiveness, empathy, and patience are powerful tools for both personal growth and meaningful interaction, applied not in response to obligation, but in alignment with principle, reflection, and ethical guidance. And in embodying these qualities, you demonstrate that the strongest lives are not those built on external recognition, validation, or approval,
but on internal alignment, discipline, and conscious action, where each choice, each decision, and each effort contributes to the ongoing cultivation of character, clarity, and purposeful living. As you navigate relationships, challenges, and opportunities, you do so from a place of strength, wisdom, and ethical certainty, not reacting impulsively to judgments or criticism, not seeking validation, and not bending to the expectations of others, but moving through life with patience, foresight, and intention, understanding that the most profound influence arises naturally from integrity, consistency, and principled living, and that your example, your calm authority, and your ethical clarity become a guiding light for those who seek to grow, reflect, and act with purpose. In this freedom you are complete, not because you control the world around you, but because you have mastered the world within you, because your values, actions, and presence align, and because your life demonstrates that the greatest strength lies in ethical resilience, patient reflection, intentional action, and unwavering commitment to truth. And as you continue forward, you realize that your life is both a personal sanctuary of clarity and a quiet source of inspiration for others, a testament to the power of principled growth, calm certainty, and self-mastery, showing that true success is measured not by recognition, applause, or influence over others, but by alignment with values, purposeful action, and the serene strength that comes from living a life fully dedicated to integrity, wisdom, and ethical excellence. And in this way, you have become both complete and free, and your journey continues, guided by principle, reflection, and unwavering clarity, leaving a lasting imprint, not through force or dominance, but through the undeniable power of a life lived in truth.
What ultimately defines this moment is not how others interpret it, but how firmly you have anchored yourself in purpose, restraint, and clarity, because real elevation is not loud and does not need witnesses to be valid. It unfolds when intention is purified and actions are aligned with values that do not shift with praise or pressure. You have reached a place where effort is no longer fueled by reaction, but by responsibility, where movement is deliberate because it is grounded in meaning rather than impulse. This is the point where striving becomes disciplined rather than desperate, where patience is not passive but strategic, where silence is not avoidance but wisdom. You understand now that strength is not proven by how much you can disrupt, but by how consistently you can remain upright when circumstances change, when outcomes delay, when recognition does not arrive on schedule. This steadiness, this refusal to be dragged into noise, reflects a deeper maturity, one that recognizes that accountability begins with the self, that success without integrity is hollow, and that influence without ethics corrodes both the giver and the receiver. You are no longer in a rush to be understood, because you have accepted that understanding is granted by God in due time, not extracted from people through performance or persuasion. Instead of seeking to control narratives, you focus on controlling your conduct. Instead of chasing outcomes, you commit to effort. Instead of measuring worth through comparison, you measure it through consistency and sincerity. This orientation changes everything. It sharpens discernment, filters distractions, and transforms ambition into stewardship rather than ego. You move forward aware that every step carries weight, that every choice leaves a trace, and that excellence is not a moment but a habit maintained when no one is watching. There is humility in this phase, but it is not weakness. It is the humility of someone who knows that guidance is a gift, that progress is entrusted, and that responsibility increases with capacity. You no longer need to announce growth because growth is evident in restraint, in fairness, in the ability to walk away from what compromises principle, even when it promises advantage. This is where inner alignment becomes visible through behavior, through how you treat people when you have leverage, how you respond when tested, how you maintain balance when given opportunity. The journey has clarified that elevation does not remove struggle, it refines how you meet it. Challenges still arise, but they no longer define direction because direction has already been set by intention. You have learned that true freedom is not the absence of limits, but the choice to live within boundaries that protect what matters most: faith, character, responsibility, and purpose. From this place, progress is sustainable because it is rooted, not reactive. You are not driven by fear of falling back or obsession with surpassing others, but by a quiet commitment to fulfill what you have been entrusted with, to leave things better than you found them, and to remain accountable even when no one demands it. This is not an ending marked by triumph over people, but a continuation marked by alignment with principle, where the real achievement is not the position reached but the person preserved along the way.